Welcome to this Prepare for IELTS essay in which we're going to tell you everything you need to know about main body paragraphs. So these are the paragraphs in your IELTS essay which are not the introduction and not the conclusion. We've separated this into two parts to look at two different types of paragraph, and the first paragraphs we're going to call one idea paragraphs. Let's see what they include. Well, they have a topic sentence, and in the topic sentence is a linking phrase and the main point. And after that, there is support. So this could be explanation, examples, evidence, the views of experts or other people, evaluation of the point, the description of an alternative, possible results, or a summary or recap. And they're usually 3 to 5 sentences long. We'll be going through all of these points. So let's start with the topic sentence, the first sentence in one of these paragraphs, and it usually has a linking phrase, and this linking phrase introduces the main point. Here are some examples of linking phrases. These can be phrases like, first and foremost, it should be stated that. There are lots of these. Here are some examples, and don't forget we have a PDF, so you don't need to write all these down. You can take a copy of the PDF. Let's have a look at these linking phrases in action in an essay. So here we have an essay about nuclear weapons. Actually, this is a little bit longer than a normal IELTS essay, so we can give more examples of main body paragraphs. This is the introduction, which includes the thesis statement in green, and then we have the main body paragraphs, and here we have a main body paragraph with our linking phrase in red. Perhaps the most important argument relates to the fact that, and then we include our point. Here's another paragraph with a linking phrase. Another relevant point is that. You can see that many of these phrases end with that, and you can follow that clause. Another paragraph and the linking phrase, it should also be pointed out that. And final argument for something relates to something else. So this is a nice linking phrase. However, it's necessary to admit or acknowledge that. So when we want to put forward an idea which doesn't support our point or our position. And finally, a conclusion where we reiterate our position. So you can see all the text in red there. Very useful linking phrases. They make your writing seem more formal. They give you a few extra very easy words to include, even though they look formal and they're quite complex. And they just make your writing seem academic. And this is a good idea to use them. So now let's turn to the main points. These will be in blue, and these generally follow a linking phrase. And you can see some examples here. So we have again linking phrases in red and the main points in blue, and these combine to make a topic sentence. Again, remember you can take the PDF, so you don't need to write these down. Here are some more topic sentences, including a red linking phrase and a blue main point. And let's have a look at these in action in an essay. So it's a good idea for companies to employ as many different people as possible, including young and old, men and women, disabled and able-bodied, and those from various ethnic and religious groups. Do you agree? Here is an introduction. It has a thesis in green. And then we get onto the main body, and the main body, you can see each paragraph has red linking phrase followed by blue main point. Similarly, the second main body paragraph works in the same way. And we have a third one, which is a bit longer than most IELTS essay, but gives you another example. Then we have the conclusion, again reiterating the main point. So how can we support the main point? We have our topic sentence, and the topic sentence includes a linking idea and a main idea. What can we do next? Let's have a look at this through an essay. So, some believe that governments should reduce spending as much as possible so that they can cut taxes to a very low level. Do you agree? And here we have our first sentence. Individuals should pay higher taxes so that public services can be protected and improved. This would be our topic sentence. So let's see how we can support this. The first thing that we can do is explain it, and you can see this new text explains that governments can put up income tax, corporation tax, or taxes paid on goods and services to raise revenue, which they can invest in projects for the common good. So the topic sentence didn't explain all the details we needed. We added extra explanation, and that's often the best way to start. You can also give examples. So here we're giving an example of Scandinavian countries, what happens there, what happens in the real world. Closely related to this is the idea of evidence. So you can look at research. If you know some research which supports your position, you can refer to that. And if you're aware of some expert views, you can refer to those. Top economists, for example. And it's also possible to refer to commonly held views. So you can also put forward information here saying that many people, most people actually support this idea. You can sometimes evaluate the position. So here, although this approach might prove unpopular amongst the richest in society, whose main concern is increased wealth, for the majority it would lead to tremendous improvements in living standards and a wide sense of equality and fairness. So evaluation can be used to indicate why this would be good, why it would be good for some people, why it would work in some situations. You can look at alternatives. So here we have written if taxes are reduced in real terms, and then we look at the consequences of that. So we look at an alternative, a different scenario or situation, and often explain why that would not work. We can refer to the results of the situation. And especially in a long paragraph, you might include a summary or form of conclusion. This will often repeat the point that you made in the introduction. And so it's not something you generally need to do, but in a longer paragraph you might. So these are some of the things that you could include to support your topic sentence, to support your main idea. So let's have a look at some examples, and here we can see a main body paragraph with a topic sentence. Here we've put together the linking phrase and the main idea into a topic sentence in red. There is also explanation and a result. So this is one of many structures you can use in an essay, generally starting with a topic sentence followed by one of the other things that we just looked at. So we'll go through some of these quickly. You can read them more carefully in the PDF. Another example where we have a topic sentence followed by explanation, an example, evidence and evaluation. Evaluation often comes at the end of a paragraph. Here we have explanation, examples and result. So you can see even in quite a short paragraph we've included 3 ways of supporting the main idea. And here we have explanation, example, evidence and evaluation. You might be thinking that some of these points are closely related, and do you really need to understand the differences between them? And the truth is that you don't. You just need to see these as your options. It doesn't matter if you're not completely clear of the difference between, for example, evaluation and result. They are both perfectly valid ways of supporting an idea. More examples. Here we just have evidence and an example. And in this essay, explanation, examples, and expert view and evaluation. In this essay, explanation and evaluation. And here, explanation, result, and a summary, which, as I said earlier, is something you might include in a long paragraph. Here we have explanation and the description of an alternative situation. And here we have explanation or example. It really could be either. In this paragraph, we have a result, some evidence, and another result. And here, it could be explanation. We could view this as a result. Here we have explanation followed by a result. So you can see we can use two forms of explanation, or we can use a certain type of support twice. Another paragraph here with explanation and a result. Now let's have a look at an essay, and this essay is about democracy. So democratic countries where citizens can vote for their leaders are stronger and healthier than nations with political systems which are not democratic. What is your opinion on this statement? So here we have an introduction. The introduction puts our position in green. Then we move on to the main body, and you can see this is a main body paragraph with a topic sentence which is supported. The topic sentence supports the thesis. The rest of the paragraph supports the topic sentence. We've done the same again. We have another topic sentence supporting the thesis, and that is supported by the rest of the paragraph. And again, the same thing happens, another topic sentence. Obviously, most IELTS essays you will have two main body paragraphs and not three or more, but we've added an extra one to show you another example here. And then we have the conclusion, where you start by reiterating your position. Let's have a look at another essay. All school children should be taught a foreign language. Do you agree? So we make our position clear in the thesis statement at the end of the introduction. We have a main body paragraph with a topic sentence which supports the thesis, and the rest of the paragraph which supports the topic sentence. Another topic sentence which supports the thesis, and the rest of the paragraph supports that topic sentence. And the same again. So you can see this structure works very nicely. We go then to the conclusion, where we repeat our position and add extra information. And here another essay showing us again how to use this structure. So all school children should be taught to play team sports like football and basketball as part of their primary school education. This would have a huge range of benefits. To what extent you would agree with this statement? Introduction with our thesis here in green in the thesis statement at the end. First main body paragraph with a topic sentence supporting that thesis and the rest of the paragraph supporting the topic sentence. Second main body paragraph, again a topic sentence in red and everything else supporting that topic sentence. And a third main body paragraph, again with a topic sentence which supports the thesis and the rest of the paragraph supporting that topic sentence. Finally, a conclusion where we repeat our position. And another essay. Cigarette smoking is dirty, disgusting and dangerous. It should be banned in all public places. What do you think about this proposal? So we have the introduction with our thesis in green. Main body paragraph 1 with a topic sentence supporting the thesis and lots supporting the topic sentence. The second main body paragraph, again with a topic sentence which supports the thesis, everything else supports the topic sentence. And a third main body paragraph, again, topic sentence supported by the rest of the paragraph. Finally, a conclusion where we repeat our position. Now we move on to the second type of main body paragraph, and we can refer to these as list paragraphs. They're not really very different, but it is worth just seeing them as slightly different. So what are list paragraphs? Well, they are very similar to one idea paragraphs. They both have a topic sentence, they both have support, so the structure isn't different. However, Topic sentences in a list paragraph are often more general and indicate that the support will be a list of points. So these points might have further support, they might be explained, there might be examples, there might be evidence, there might be the views of experts, evaluation, an alternative, or a result. And this type of paragraph is often found in advantages, disadvantages essays and in problem solutions essays. Quite honestly, if you don't see the difference between these two types of paragraph, it doesn't really matter, but let's have a look at what we mean. We'll give some examples. So firstly, let's have a look at some of the topic sentences that you might get in different types of essays. So let's say you had a problem and solution essay where you were being asked to describe the problems and the causes of a problem and the solutions. So one of your paragraphs might begin with a topic sentence. Obviously, global poverty has a range of causes. The difference here is that you will spend the rest of this paragraph giving a list of those causes. Similarly with the second one, terrorism is plainly a complex subject with several intricately linked causes, and you spend the rest of the paragraph supporting that topic sentence, but supporting it with a list of ideas. So it's not quite the same as the other type of sentence. Let's have a look at other examples. So solutions. So again, in this causes and solutions, this problem and solutions essay, you might start your solutions paragraph with a topic sentence like several solutions to the issue of global poverty could be put into place, and you spend the rest of the paragraph giving a list, 2, 3, or 4 of those possibilities. You might explain each of those possibilities with an extra sentence, and we'll see an example of that in a moment. Something similar works in advantages and disadvantages questions. So here are possible topic sentences for advantages. Banning smoking altogether has a number of benefits, and the rest of the paragraph lists those benefits. In your disadvantages section, banning smoking altogether has a number of drawbacks, and you spend the paragraph listing those drawbacks. So let's have a look how this works in an essay. So in many parts of the world, violence is associated with sporting occasions, particularly football. Supporters of different teams fight each other in and around the stadiums, and injuries are common. What are the possible causes of this violence and what should be done about it? So a problems and solutions essay. So we start with our introduction, which has a thesis statement explaining that this is a troubling question and we need to sort it out. Then we get onto our main body, and our main body is a list paragraph, and it starts with a topic sentence. There you can see a number of reasons why this unacceptably antisocial behavior occurs have been identified, and then we have a main point, and this main point is supported. So we have a list, and the first thing on our list is researchers in this field often point to psychological motivation. So psychological issues is point number 1 on our list. Well, our main point doesn't really explain this, so we have support. Then we have another point, and again we've supported this. So we have a second point in blue with support in green. We have a third point in blue. This time it doesn't really need support, it explains itself. And a fourth point in blue, which is supported in green. This is quite a long paragraph. You probably would never have more than 3 supported points. You don't need to support all your points. Sometimes they need support, sometimes they explain themselves perfectly well. So you can see this is a slightly different type of paragraph. Let's have a look at another paragraph in this essay. So again, we start with the topic sentence. A great many policies could be used to deal with this worrying trend of unnecessary violence. So these are our solutions. We have a list of possible solutions. Here's our first one. It's explained. So the point in blue, the explanation in green. Our second one doesn't really need further explanation. Our third one does have some explanation, and most essays would only have 3 points. This would be long enough for a main body paragraph, but we've added a fourth one as well, where we have a fourth point which we explain. So you can see this is a slightly different way of writing a paragraph, especially useful in advantages and disadvantages essays, and in problems and solution essays. And here we have our conclusion to that essay. Another essay to show you how this works. Homelessness is a major problem in many parts of the world. What are the main causes of homelessness? What can be done to help reduce this problem? So the same structure, an introduction where we include our thesis, and then a main body paragraph with a main ideas. There are many reasons why people become homeless, so these are the causes. Cause number 1 in blue, explanation in green. Cause number 2 in blue, explanation in green. Cause number 3 in blue. Cause number 4 in blue. As I keep saying, 4 causes in a paragraph is a lot, and in most IELTS essays, 3 would be plenty. Next paragraph, and there are practical measures which governments can take to significantly reduce the likelihood of homelessness. So these are our solutions. Solution 1 in blue with support in green. Solution 2 in blue, no support added. Solution 3 in blue, no support added. Solution 4 in blue with support in green. And again, 3 would be plenty. And here is our conclusion. So we hope you found that useful and that now you would be able to write confidently your well-structured main body paragraphs. We look forward to seeing you again soon, and thank you for watching.